Hi, welcome back to Lists, where we are currently counting down the top 10 movies that made you cry or missed, we decided. This is part 2. If you have not yet listened to part 1, we would obviously encourage you to go back and listen to that one first. Got some really good stuff in there, but we are ready to count down our top 5s.
All right, kick us off.
All right. You want to try and guess again?
I'm going to try to guess. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right. This is, I believe, the most recent movie on the list. No, La La Land was.
Okay.
And the movie right after it is. But anyway, okay. Never mind. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
That's a common occurrence. It's okay.
Yeah. What? All right. Take your shots. Take your shots. All right. Okay. Smart guy. 2013.
Oh, 2013.
Interesting. Let me see. Let me see if I can give you a little help. Okay.
Okay.
As far as Academy Awards went, I do not believe it received any nominations with the exception of screenplay. Original screenplay. Did not win. There are connections to previous pods.
I think I might need an actor.
If I give you an actor, you're going to have it in a second. Let me say this.
All right.
Direct connection to a guilty pleasure book I mentioned.
Oh. Before Midnight?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So I have at number 5, 2013's Richard Linklater directed Before Midnight, which is the final movie in the Before trilogy that began with Before Sunrise, had Before Sunset in the middle, and concludes with this one.
Yeah, all 9 years apart.
All 9 years apart, and all starring Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy as
Jesse and Celine.
Jesse and Celine, who meet in the first movie and fall in love, but decide that, they're going to meet in a year where they at a train station, and obviously that doesn't.
I think it's 6 months, but anyway.
6 months, whatever it is. But anyway, their love story is is
it's a great one.
It's a phenomenal love story, and it's what these 3 movies tell the story of.
Interesting. So, but you picked Before Midnight to be your representative.
Yep. Number 5 is Before Midnight. It is, and it represents the the married with children portion of life.
Sure. Yeah.
That's accurate, right? And to me, I don't know that I have ever seen a more accurate depiction of what it is like to be married and have kids, to love someone, and to struggle with all of the various challenges presented by love and by marriage and by the continuing of a partnership over an extended period of time. It's a hard thing.
Yep.
And the ending of this movie gets me so bad. Where he don't spoil. I don't want to spoil it. But so the movie, essentially, they've been married for a little while. They are on vacation in Greece with some friends. And you have a much, much older couple. You have a couple that's about the same age as them. And you have a very, very young couple who are newly in love.
Newlyweds, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so you're kind of getting glimpses of love throughout time, which is interesting because that's also what all 3 movies give you as well. Right. So it's that there's kind of like a meta layer to it on that level. But so their friends kind of arrange for them, they spend some time with their friends, and they have these conversations about life and love and work and parenting and all of this great, deep, philosophically grounded, but also very relatable talk about all of these things. And their friends give them as a gift, as a going away gift, a vacation to like a couple nights stay in a hotel, right? Yeah. And they, at first they don't want to do it because
there are some conversations that are had in that hotel room.
Holy shit. Yeah. Because, their vacation has been stressful. They've been kind of a little bit chirping at each other here and there, and there's a big struggle going on. They have kids now, and, who's contributing what to the marriage is an issue, which, raise your hand if that's...
I assume your hand is way up in the air.
I assume yours is too.
Yeah, it's touching the ceiling.
Both of our wives nodding vigorously.
Nodding in furious anger? I don't know.
Hopefully with some appreciation of the fact that we're talking about it.
Let's move on.
Just the anger. Just the anger.
Let's move on quickly.
Dear wife, sorry for being the worst thing that has ever happened to you.
Yeah, I love you too.
Yeah. So anyway, there's also some strain because Jesse has a son from his first marriage, and he is struggling with the fact that they live in Europe and his son lives in America, and he wants to broach the subject of possibly moving to New York so that he can be closer to his son, and that becomes something that's it's a hard conversation. It's a real conversation,
what follows are some scenes from a marriage, to quote another great movie.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so they go to the hotel, and like you said, Scott, the conversations that happen there.
Yeah.
But I will say this. The ending of that movie, because what you think by the time you get to that last scene, holy crap. And it's so for me, the tears.
Yeah, why is the cry? Yeah.
And I'm trying so hard not to spoil this. All right. So the tears come from, all right, whatever, this isn't spoiling it. The tears come from really just you've watched this relationship.
It feels like a real relationship that you've seen take place over these movies.
It feels
and
like
it is painfully sad to watch it fall apart.
Exactly. And there comes a point in the film where you really believe like, wow, they're done. And you kind of think to yourself like this weird, absurd thought, like, because I think that these are maybe the most realistic movies about love that I've ever seen. You think to yourself, boy, if they can fall apart like this, holy shit.
Yeah, like they're real people. Yeah.
Like I remember I saw this movie. My wife and I went on a date to see this.
I remember that. You were like, yeah, great movie. Not a great date movie.
Just going, oh, fucking shit. Like, what is the walk home gonna be like? This is not gonna be like. I'm watching the movie and I'm getting pissed off at Linklater. I'm like, you fucking asshole! My wife's gonna ask me for a divorce the second we get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Because you could just literally, I felt like I could look over at my wife at any time, and I was terrified if I looked over, she was going to be nodding, going, yeah, absolutely.
Or be looking at you already. And it's like, oh no.
And the other experience of this too, and I'm very curious if this is universal, is talking about the movie afterwards. I was saying,
choose your words carefully.
Oh my god, because I'm going like, I really feel like he had some interesting points in that, and she's going, what?
How could? Yeah,
he was completely wrong. She had.
Yeah.
And it's. Man, that's part of the brilliance of it. But again, so art, where the tears come from is partly that, and then the ending, which I can't bring myself to give away, but
no.
It's this adorable, clever, but also
let's not spoil it. I'm going to ask you. I always have read the ending of that movie in kind of a darker way than it seems like other people read it. Was that your read at all?
Like a "this is over" type of way?
Sort of, yeah.
Here's my take on it.
Okay. If you can do it without a spoiler.
If I can do it without spoiling. Here's my interpretation. It's the part of this where we are deeply in love with each other.
Is over. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Is over.
Maybe that is what I'm picking up on, yeah. The
part of it where we love each other as people and we are partners in life we're in the thick of that.
Parenthood, yeah.
And that itself is a worthy thing. Which I think, honestly, is something that a lot of people don't have the balls to say about marriage. Is that there comes a point, and I don't want to speak for everyone, but I believe this to be very true. There comes a point where you transition from being a romantic couple that also happens to be cohabitating and living a life together and all of that to where it's the inverse. You become two people who are partners in life and who are making a conscious decision to go through life together. And the romantic stuff becomes the bonus part, the part that's secondary to that. And I don't think many people have the balls to say that about marriage.
I don't think a lot of people have the, as you put it, balls to continue their marriage beyond when it gets to that point. I feel like maybe that's where a lot of divorces happen.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that that's a question of having, if we're going to go with it, with the balls. I think it's just a question of, because that transition is excruciating. That's not an easy transition. And this movie depicts that. And I think that's part of why it's so emotionally powerful to me, because I'm sitting there watching it going, this is real. Like, this is real. This is going to happen to us. This is happening to us.
I see.
Are we going to have the strength to survive it? And that's, I think a lot of times a movie can get me emotionally just by being so real.
Okay. Well, that's
so accurate.
Yes. All right. So I like it. That's your number 5 then, Before Midnight.
That's a good movie. Not a date movie. Not a date movie. Holy shit. Watch it separate from your spouse.
I will spoil that none of the Before trilogy made my list.
Yeah, you had mentioned Before Midnight Before Sunset earlier. So I figured it didn't make your list.
Before Sunset was the one that came closest for me. That one gets the most actual tears out of me. Like in the cab ride and on the boat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then the end. So yeah. All right, cool. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great movies, obviously.
Phenomenal.
So we're going to go from that phenomenal movie to my number 5. My number 5, I don't think is a particularly great movie. Although it was nominated for like best screenplay, best picture, best score, stuff like that.
Are you suggesting that doesn't always correlate to actual greatness?
Yeah, shocking. And why I don't think it's the best is because to me, this tips a little bit on the manipulative side rather than the earned side.
Give me a year.
1989.
Oh.
And like it's manipulative. Okay, but I am an American. I am a male. I have a father, and I kind of like baseball. So Field of Dreams just destroys me.
Field of Dreams.
It's kind of,
That was the hardest one for me to leave off.
Okay. See, I had it left off until the very last minute. I'm like, I'm not putting this on because I think it's manipulative. But if I'm being honest on this list, I cry every time. So it has to be on here.
Yeah, it gets you. I mean, I think, I don't know. I know that father-son movies get me every time.
Yeah, and talk about a father-son movie.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the... You mean you couldn't draw it up any better for like an American male audience?
I mean, it's a joke kind of at this point that like all
really
men
is.
Cry at Field of Dreams. And it's simply, hey, Dad, want to have a catch? And every man in America starts crying.
You can barely hear it without
Exactly. I was watching it on YouTube earlier today, crying. So yeah. Anyway, Field of Dreams. Kevin Costner starts hearing voices. If you build it, he will come. He builds a baseball field in his backyard,
which is a great idea.
Yeah, and his dead dad eventually shows up, and they have a game of catch, and then we all cry.
Oh my god! Yeah.
I will say, like the James Earl Jones character, Moonlight Graham, his story
J.D.
about
Salinger.
Well, right. How he, made it to the major leagues for one game, but never got an at bat and stuff is good too. But
yeah,
it's
and he's a father himself now.
Yeah, it's a movie, and it's got okay. A lot.
And it's got the enduring power of baseball as a sport, which is not going to connect to everybody, but I know it gets me, man. You have all of these dead baseball players showing up, and they the famous line, "Is this heaven?" Right. No, it's Iowa.
No, it's Iowa. Yeah,
yeah. Which is not heaven. But
yeah. Well, it just might be. But yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, and you got these guys. They're in the afterlife, and for them, all they want to do is play ball, man. And his dad had like what they would call a cup of coffee in the big leagues, right?
Right.
And, he didn't really get to know him all that well. And and this is how they connect, is through space and time and baseball.
Yep. It's having a catch.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that those moments they're, it's the music and it's manipulative, but
sure.
I have to give it credit. I mean, it works every time. So,
but I think there's, yeah.
There's other good things about the movie. Yeah.
Elements of manipulation to it, but I think that it also does earn it. Like, because come on, how can Hey Dad want to have a catch not be earned? Like that's a very, very universal type of feeling. And it may not be catch for everybody. It could be anything,
Right.
But
yeah. So anyway, that's my number 5, Field of Dreams.
That's a good pick. That is a good pick.
Yeah, I had to get it on there.
Right. It's not two people walking around Greece talking about the finer points of love throughout history and whether or not two human beings are truly capable of loving one another in any real sense.
Yeah, not exactly.
It's not that. It's
Hey Dad, want to have a catch? Yeah.
It's that type of cry.
Yeah, but hey, it gets me. So it's number 5.
Yeah, it gets me too.
Yeah.
You're not going to hear any hate on it from me, I can tell you that.
All right, fair enough.
All right, you ready for 4?
Let's do it. Number 4.
Number 4, 2016.
Oh, that's another early one.
Quite recent.
Yeah, recent one.
Yeah.
Huh.
And you and I had a pretty good long talk about this movie after we both saw it.
Really?
Yep. I saw this movie on a trip to Detroit. I went to see a concert, and this movie was not playing anywhere in Kalamazoo where I live, and I was furious because I really wanted to see it. And so being in Detroit, we took the extra time that day to go see this film, and
I feel like it's on the tip of my tongue, but I'm not getting
it. Manchester by the Sea.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, yeah, we went to Detroit for the
quick spoiler before you get into it. Didn't make my list.
No, it didn't make. Well, I mean, it's a recent movie.
Well, it's incredibly sad.
But doesn't make you cry.
Yeah, it didn't make me cry.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's incredibly sad. It didn't make me missed when I saw it. It was afterwards.
Oh, thinking about it.
Yes. Yeah. So I remember very vividly leaving the theater, and we were going to go walk around and look for like a record store and a used bookstore and just kind of hang out in the city for a little bit,
Okay.
And the movie ends, and it's I overhear a lot of people like weeping, and I also overhear people going, "I don't get it." I'm just like, don't look at my wife. Let's get the fuck out of here. So we're leaving, and she asked me, she says, "What did you think?" Because obviously, like, I wanted to see this movie so bad that we stayed in Detroit for like an extra day.
Right. You better not say,
And I looked at her and I just said, and I just froze. And we probably walked like 5 blocks before I got another word out of my mouth. Like, it was a movie that hit me that hard that I was literally speechless. And we just walked around Detroit, and even in the stores and everything, I was just not paying attention to anything. I was just thinking about this movie. And as I'm thinking about it, I'm just getting more and more emotional. And
I will agree with that. Yeah, thinking back on it, it's almost more so.
Yeah. And then I saw it a second time, and it occurred then.
Oh, okay.
But so Manchester by the Sea, it's a recent enough movie that I think probably people have at least seen a trailer for it. But really, what it is so Casey Affleck plays a man who, Jesus, how do you talk about this without spoiling it?
A man who lost his children.
And his marriage.
Yeah.
And has chosen a life of complete isolation.
Yeah.
Because he is overwhelmed with pain.
Yes.
And he also does a lot of, I'm going to call it self-harm, but it's not like,
self-sabotage?
Self-sabotage probably is a better way of saying it. So he'll like go to a pub, there's the scene in the movie, he goes to the bar and
he picks a fight.
There's a guy across that like just happens to catch his eye, and he's wasted, and he just says, "What the do I know you?" Guy says, "What? Are you talking to me?" Says, yeah, I'm talking to you. Do I know you? Guy says, "No." He says, "Well, why the fuck are you staring at me?" And they get in a huge fight, and he just allows himself really to just get the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah, he just wanted to get a beating.
He just wanted to get his ass kicked because the physical pain is what he's looking for.
Form of self-flagellation, like the Scarlet Letter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, I can't believe you just tainted this with that.
It all comes back to the Scarlet Letter, baby.
No, it does not. It does not.
The greatest piece of literature ever written. No.
Why would you?
Anyway, okay.
The rage. Continue. Oh my God, the rage. So that concept of just the way he handles his pain is not good, not healthy. But so it gets a lot worse because his brother has had he has congenital heart failure, and it's really just a ticking time bomb. And his brother dies. Yep. And he is basically left to go take care of everything and to take care of his nephew, who's a teenager and is trying to not deal with the death of his father. And he's got this uncle who is emotionally unavailable. Yeah. And will not make himself available because he is not going to lose again. And
it's a great movie.
It goes from there. Yeah, I don't want to give away too much, but it's a movie where the misting is perpetual.
Yeah, it's a pretty constant cloud of misery over that whole movie.
I mean, when he goes to see his brother's body, it's heartbreaking. When you find out,
the kind of shocking moment in the police station is
the police station scene. Holy shit!
I don't know about cry for that scene, but like holy shit for that scene.
Yeah, that's a scene where you're just kind of gutted.
For me, the cry moment is towards the end when he's eating dinner with the nephew, and
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to spoil it.
No,
yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay. All right.
Yep. The little brief conversation.
Yeah.
Yep. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
And the other one is when he runs into his ex-wife. He runs into his ex-wife. And they
Michelle Williams is great.
Stop the talk, and she tries to go back to when they lost the kids, and
he just can't do it.
That really, man.
Yeah.
So this is really a movie just about
It's a really upbeat, fun time. We recommend it if you're in the mood for something light and uplifting.
Yeah. You just want something light to watch while you're eating pizza on a Friday night.
Yeah, this is the movie for you.
Yeah. You can just enjoy the profound exploration of grief and guilt and love and loss. But anyway, it's a brilliantly acted film. It's a brilliantly directed film.
It's not brilliantly directed, but it's brilliantly written.
It's brilliantly directed.
No, it's definitely not.
Anyway, brilliantly written. Yes, it's beautiful, and it's beautiful in how it tortures you.
Yeah, it sure does. Totally makes sense at number 4. Yeah.
So the number 4. It's a killer.
I was just too depressed and beaten down by it to even produce tears, is I think what happened for me. I was just too bummed out.
That movie, honest to God, it is a kick in the spleen.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say scrotum, but all right.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It just hits you so hard.
Yeah, it's
rough.
I
said, I wasn't even capable of feeling the emotions until I'm flipping through records, and I'm just realizing I'm not even looking at anything. And wow.
All right, good pick. That was your number 4?
Yep. What do you got?
All right, my number 4. This is my most recent movie on my list. Came out in 2018.
18?
Less than a year ago.
Have I seen it?
I don't think so.
Endgame.
Okay, that came out this year.
And I am Iron Man.
Honestly, I did get a little misty at that.
You know what? It got me too.
Okay, good. Phew. I'm not gonna lie, that Robert Downey Jr. honestly might even get nominated for that, and I wouldn't be mad.
He nailed it.
He nailed it. Yeah.
Jack looked over at me in the movie theater to see if it was okay to cry.
Oh, okay.
It was one of those
was he looks Daddy misting?
He looked over at me to see if I was crying, but it was one of those more to see if he was allowed to cry.
I see.
And I wasn't crying, but I did put my arm around him and hug him, so he knew
oh, okay.
You go right ahead, buddy.
Yeah, it missed me too. That was not bad.
Well done.
All right. Anyway, no, it's not an adventurous movie.
All right. So less than a year.
Yeah.
Have I seen it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, then I probably don't know it. Foreign film?
No, you've heard of it. Well, yes, it is a foreign film, sort of. It's Roma.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So Roma by Alfonso Cuarón came
Great
out
director.
Briefly in theaters and then on Netflix last year. It won Best Foreign Film, Best Cinematography. He won Best Director, and it should have won Best Picture instead of that garbage Green Book. Anyway, rant over.
So number 4, Roma. Wow.
Yeah, number 4, Roma. And I can't really tell you why, because it's a huge spoiler. So I don't really know what to say. I'll briefly describe the movie in case people don't really know what it is. Maybe they've heard of it. Why is it worth watching? So it's black and white. It's in Spanish. And it's a little slow. And but it's great. And you should watch it.
I feel like that's what you say about every movie you recommend.
I know.
It's a little slow, but it's great. You should watch it.
Yeah, I know. So it's set in 1970, 1971, semi-autobiographical on his own upbringing in the Colonia Roma neighborhood of Mexico City. And it basically follows the main character is a live-in housekeeper of like an upper middle class family. Mm. And so we're always in her perspective. And a lot of this movie is like happening in the background. Like she'll be in a room in the foreground, like cleaning a table. And in the background, we can see like through the open door frame, like the husband and wife arguing or something. And you like pick up what's going on in this house kind of in the background.
Oh, I see.
Because we're in her perspective. And the film is very much about class and stuff like that. Yeah, and it's weird because the movie's like 2.5 hours plus. And I was like an hour 45 minutes in. I'm like, I'm not sure if I like this. I'm not sure if this is good.
After an hour and 45 minutes and you...
Right.
Wow.
And 10 minutes later, I was bawling... like blubbering tears.
And I'm like, here comes the haymaker.
Just blubbering, a mess, just bawling tears. I'm like, well, okay, yeah, I guess it's been working.
Wow, okay. So it's one of those you have no idea it's working on you.
And then until all of a sudden you're like, oh, I guess it's really been working. And then by the end, it was, I think, my number 3 movie of the year last year. I think it's a great movie. Yeah. Oof. And I can't spoil. Maybe we can do another spoiler section? I don't know.
Do a spoiler section, because I want to hear it.
All right.
Screw the audience.
Quick 30-second jump ahead if you want to miss the spoilers. And I'll even be vague. So for you, Colby, there's a farewell to arms type situation.
Okay. Gotcha. I know exactly what you're saying.
All I need to say. And oh my God, the camera doesn't move and you just have to watch it happen in real time.
Oh, you just have to. The
special effects, they pull out this non-crying silent baby and hand it to her. It's like, okay, we got to go throw it out now. And they're taking it away from her and I'm just losing it.
Oh my God.
So anyway, end spoiler section.
Oh, wow. You know what's funny is I was about to say that's the way A Farewell to Arms felt to me when I read it, was that...
Oh, interesting, yeah.
I kept wondering, I'm like, I'm not sure I like this. And then I'm going, no. And then I'm sobbing.
That's very much the experience for me of this movie. And then in the end, that's not the end of the film. That's like the 3/4 mark, or maybe even 2/3 mark. And then after that, there's a scene with her with the children of the family she works for that kind of brings it back up and then goes interesting directions there. Anyway, powerful movie, really snuck up on me. It's playing subtly in the background, and the next thing you know, you really know and care about this woman and know and sort of care about the family she works for. And yeah, you just, by the end of it, you felt like, yeah, I know these people and you've been through some stuff with them.
Yeah. I know that Becky saw it, and, obviously with a young baby, we have very different schedules for first months after Hadley was born. So it was during that time period that I think she watched it or something,
Do you remember if she cried in it?
I don't know if she cried, but I know that she liked it. She liked it a lot.
You'll have to investigate that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm guessing she did.
Okay. Well, let us know on the next pod, I guess.
I think I caught some tears tonight while we were watching America's Got Talent, so I'm guessing she cried at this.
Well, I sure did. Oh, man. Okay.
But so she has had really bad allergies lately, so I don't want to throw her under the bus. It could have just been that.
Hey, America's Got Talent will manipulate us all.
It'll manipulate the crap out of you and get you.
Yeah. So anyway, Roma, number 4 for me.
That's a good pick. All right. Well, number 3, we've been talking about a lot this podcast, and I think it's going to surprise you because I think you thought that I was going with Before Midnight as the only one. But at number 3 is Before Sunset.
Wasn't that a rule that you can't have? No. I guess we said remakes. You're doing 2 from the same trilogy. All right, fine.
Yeah, well, they're both worthy entries.
Well, no, I can't argue that.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
So we've already talked about it, yeah.
Well, we've talked, yeah. I mean, all right, so Before Sunset, again, we've talked about what this trilogy is all about. This is the middle part. This is them. So they are reuniting after years of having not seen each other.
Yeah.
And he is married and she is in a long-term relationship that is not going well, but isn't going badly enough to end it. You know, one of those,
right. Yeah.
You know, yeah. A lot of people out there going, I know exactly what you're talking about.
They haven't done anything wrong. I can't really justify ending you.
Right. And also just comfort, you know.
Right.
So anyway, they reunite and he has the
whole movie is an hour and 20 minutes of them walking around catching up.
And exactly. But also talking about the nature of the struggles of how their idealism from when they were young has disappeared on them.
Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And now they're both in this place where they're not happy and not fulfilled, but they believe that that's what it really is, and so they're going to settle for that. And it's sort of a disenchantment that becomes should we really settle for this? But what about what we had? And what if, and he kind of stops her in the middle of one of those conversations and says, I'm not sure I buy all this bullshit, like I'm not sure because, who knows what would have happened if we had,
Yeah.
And she's not nearly as optimistic about that as he is, but they have really interesting conversations about those very things. I don't know if
that's true. I'm going to push back on that.
Oh, okay.
Not outwardly so, but I think deep down she might even be more so.
Fair. Yeah, okay. She definitely
hides it better.
She hides it, and she's got some anger about about the fact that he's married and has a child, and that's a better way of putting it. Actually, you said it really well. He puts it on his sleeve, and she's holding her cards close to her vest.
Yeah,
and that, like you said when I was talking about Before Midnight, that scene in the cab.
Oh, the cab.
Where you get the different looks.
Yeah. And then she tries to reach for him and then pulls back.
The body language.
Yeah, the body language is so good.
And then, greatest movie ending of all time?
I mean, it's up there. Absolutely.
I remember that movie ended. I remember thinking to myself, right after he says the line he said, I remember thinking to myself, go black. Please end there. Go black. Yeah. Go black. Please like end. Just immediately shut the camera off. Like, please.
Yeah, I love endings. I love endings in movies like that. It's like, oh, if it ended right now, it'd be perfect. And then it does. You're like, thank you.
And then boom. Yep. Because it's the worst when it does it the other way.
I know. It's like you had the perfect, and then there's another 10 minutes, and you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a movie. What movie? Because there was a movie I saw recently. And I remember afterwards we were talking about it, and I was saying, well, there were about 6 different parts in there where if it had ended, it would have been really good.
Yeah.
But they just kept going.
It happens.
Yeah. Anyway, it's my favorite ending to a film of all time. I'll put it that way.
I will not begrudge that at all.
And it's just, you walk out of there because of that ending, just...
Tears in your eyes.
Tears in your eyes. It's phenomenal.
Well, obviously no pushback from me.
Yeah. So, you did. You got a little rambunctious when you found out there were 2 from the same trilogy.
Yeah, I guess.
But you got
only for the exercise of the list. Like, they both understandable. Yeah. And Before Sunset, I like that it's higher because it's the most cry-inducing of the 3 for me.
Yes, by far. Yeah.
And it didn't make my top 10, just barely. I don't know. It's 11 or 12 or something.
Yeah.
And I think it's more, I don't know. My tears weren't as physical tears for that as some of my top 10.
You know, what's interesting? I wonder, when's the last time you saw it?
Recently, a few months ago.
Oh, was it? Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Because it definitely, like the first time I saw it, I was 20. And I mean, it had a huge emotional impact on me at that time. Right. But like, you know, then you go and see that movie, you see it again at 30.
Yeah.
It's a very different take on it.
Well, not to humble brag, but I live in Austin, which is where Richard Linklater is from, and he showed a screening of Before Sunrise not that long ago. Did a Q&A afterwards that I got to attend.
I was so jealous.
And then after I saw that, you know, I popped in Before Sunset like the next day.
Watched. Okay.
Yeah.
So good.
Really good. I like the pick.
Yeah.
And that's up at number 3 for you.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. I don't know what your top 2 are going to be now. I'm confused.
My top 2 came out in the same year, and I didn't know that till just recently.
Interesting. All right. Well, I'll do my 3 first.
All right.
And I think you just mentioned this in part 1 of this podcast in a joking way. But here it is all the way at number 3. Because I have to be honest.
Old Yeller?
No. 2010. Do you got it?
If you say Marley and Me, I'm going to punch you in the face.
Toy Story 3.
Oh, Jesus. I was going to say, I'll never talk to you again. Okay. Toy Story 3. I did say that jokingly.
It's at 3. I have to be honest. I lose it.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm not going to.
Not to compare it to the Before trilogy and like Before Midnight. but in a similar vein, it is you've spent two other movies with these characters, and then you get to the ending of this movie and stuff happens, and it's like a cumulative effect. Yeah. So a similar effect almost. I don't know if everyone has seen Toy Story 3. The scene where they're about to get like melted and they all hold each other's hands thinking they're about to die gets me.
Beautiful.
But more than that, it's the end where Andy is going off to college and he gives all the toys to a new little girl and says goodbye to them. And oh my God, that piano music by Randy Newman is borderline cruel during the end of that movie. It's like, dude, stop it. I'd be crying anyway.
Right. But that is really speaks to the fine line between manipulation and
but it's not
good artwork. You know,
it is cruel, but it doesn't feel manipulative.
It's definitely a kick while you're down.
Yeah, it is. But it almost does feel like the 3 movies built up to that, and it's like the perfect ending. And that is honestly why I have not seen Toy Story 4 yet, and I don't know if I want to.
Oh, because you don't want.
I kind of, it's like that ending's like perfect.
That book was closed for you. I don't know if I
want to. So I don't know if 4 undoes any of that ending or upholds it. I don't know anything about 4, and I don't know if I'm going to.
Yeah, I mean it's one of those hard situations, right, where you have these characters, any set of characters that you really have come to love, and then someone talks about, well, we're going to bring them back. It's like, whoa. I had this great resolution with them. And
don't ruin it.
I don't want it tainted. I actually have not seen Toy Story 4, and I haven't heard anything about it. So, which is weird because I have a 9-year-old, you would think.
I guess we could lean on our listeners. If that's how I feel about the ending of Toy Story 3, is it safe for me to see Toy Story 4, or should I skip it? Let me know.
Does it do some harm to the legacy, or
I don't know.
Take away some of the emotional power, or is it a worthy addition?
Exactly. So Toy Story 3 up at number 3.
No, that's legit. It's
it's it's the coming of age, it's the nostalgia, it's
I have to imagine that any list of, let's say 21st century's saddest movies or most emotionally powerful movies, I have to imagine that would be very close to the top on all of those. So I don't think you're doing anything radical.
Okay. And that's my Pixar representative. Like, I know Up, especially the beginning, does it for a lot of people. Or
No, they're good at it, man.
I could have kept my parent-child thing with Finding Nemo, or I could have done some other ones. But
yeah.
I went with Toy Story 3.
The Pixar people are good, man. Even Cars.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Number 3. Pick. Yeah. All right. Top 2.
3. All right. Well, now I'm real curious what your top 2 are.
Oh.
Holy crap. All right, you ready?
All right. Give me this famous year that both of your top 2 are from.
Okay. I guess this was a great year for movies. 1997.
Oh. Okay. That doesn't help me.
Let me give you a clue. You ready?
Yeah.
Apples.
Good Will Hunting?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Good guess.
Thank you.
Well done. I got a lot of respect for that. I guess I gave you one word.
Well, I like them apples. So tell me about number 2.
Oh man. So, all right, Good Will Hunting is I had always put it into guilty pleasure, and then a few years ago I was like, you know what, screw it. This is a pretty critically acclaimed movie. I'm not calling it a guilty pleasure.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so Good Will Hunting is the story.
Surprised you can be emotionally affected by, Red Sox fans.
Yeah, that part had traditionally been difficult for me to find them difficult to connect with.
I hear you. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's about a guy who is a janitor at Harvard, and
I think most people know what.
Yeah, I mean, this professor puts this unsolvable math problem up on the board outside of his classroom, and anybody who solves it, blah, 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 blah. So he's working one night, and he solves it. And they go on this hunt to find out who did this, and they figure out it's this janitor who's from Southie and, talks like a goober, and it just has these asshole friends.
He talks like he's from Southie. Is what you mean.
He talks like he's from Southie, and he's got these friends who are just guys from Southie, and they so they find him, and they want to kind of really
groom his career,
but
set him up for great things.
It's their own self-interest in a lot of ways.
Right on his coattails,
And so Robin Williams is famously unbelievable in this movie.
Yeah, as his shrink,
Yeah, he plays so this kid has a lot of anger issues and a lot of emotional problems because he grew up in foster care and had a ton of physically and emotionally abusive people around him. And just his life has been nothing but suffering, but he's brilliant, and he's got these great qualities that are all buried beneath this shell. And it's Robin Williams' job to help him get through this so that he can make the most of his immense potential. And
the
Robin
movie
Williams,
is all about kind of what making the most really means.
Right, because Robin Williams and the professor who's kind of doing it for self-interest were once kind of equals, and one chose this sort of I don't want to say fame because it's really difficult to be a famous professor, but you know what I mean. He's an extraordinarily successful and well-respected professor in this field, and Robin Williams very much could have been the same in his field, but chose a different path and chose a different life because it made him happier. And
crazy concept,
right. And the two of them have some interesting arguments about that. And and Robin Williams has lost his wife, and he just has an amazing connection with this young man, and they run up against it trying to connect to each other and talk, and then they finally do. And so what makes me cry about it? I mean, there are so many scenes in that movie that'll get you. Okay. For me, one of the biggest ones is that when his friends save up all their money and and get him what he needs to get out.
Yeah.
And, Ben Affleck's character tells him, that his dream every day
right,
is that he'll come home from work and...
No, he'll go to pick him up in the morning.
Oh, he'll go, he'll go to pick him up in the morning, and he won't answer the horn, and he won't answer the door because he just left without saying a word. Like, this is his best friend saying that to him. Like...
Yeah, it's like you deserve more than this. You got to get out.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I care about you so much that I would rather have you without saying a word to me. Never see you again. Just leave to become this version of you that we all know you can be.
Right.
And anyway.
Yeah, I'm with you that at the construction site, and then when it pays off is probably the most emotional part for me.
Yeah, and obviously there are the scenes. I don't go for the scene that everybody goes with, the "it's not your fault" scene. Like, I don't. That doesn't
actually do anything for me. No.
It's the other scenes with Robin Williams where he calls him on his bullshit and tells him he doesn't know a fucking thing. Like, he's not,
After the airplane joke, yeah.
Yes. Like, he tells him, you may be smart, but you're dumb as hell in a lot of other areas.
And then the famous monologue on the park bench that he gives to him, yeah.
And the painting.
Right, yeah. You don't know, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And he tells and the story about Fenway and the game he missed.
Oh, yeah. Well, I like that as a Red Sox fan.
Well, I mean, as an emotional device, it works brilliantly. And as a baseball fan, you can appreciate it now, regardless. But
yeah.
It's
good pick.
Honestly,
makes perfect sense.
Why is it so high, though?
Yeah,
I kept, like, as I was ordering these, I kept thinking
a lot at many different scenes. Or
I just feel like I connected to that movie a lot.
Okay.
For me, so the biggest question you constantly get as a teacher is, why did you go into this? Why did you do it? And you went to high school with me. All right,
I did.
You were there for this. You know this. You lived it side by side with me. I was a kid who really, I mean, not to the level that obviously Matt Damon's character in this movie needed it, but I was a kid who was screwing up in school and was definitely not using any of my potential at all. In fact, I would say brazenly flouting it. And obviously at the time, none of that's in your head. You're just living your life. You're not conscious of what you're doing because you're a teenager and you're stupid. But as I got to be an adult, I realized, my God, if just one person had stepped in and made any effort to mentor me, to even just to take the time to ask me, like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
And we joked about this on another pod about how my AP English teacher, when I came in, I was the only kid in class that day who didn't go to take the test. And he said to me, why on earth? And he was just kind of, I think that's the closest anybody ever came. Honestly, that's the closest anyone came to stepping in and saying something and caring and being a mentor. And it was one sentence. And then it was dropped. And so the biggest reason I became a teacher is because I needed that so badly, and it could have changed so many things about my life to have had. It can't be someone from the family. To have had
therapy from Robin Williams. Yeah.
To look at a painting with Robin Williams.
Yeah.
No, just like I said.
Well, no, I know what you mean. Yeah.
So really what it boils down to is there is a deep, deep personal connection. Not that I think I'm some, you know what? I do think I'm some super genius.
Yes, you do think that. Yeah.
I was going to say not. I do, but
I wasn't going to let that go by. It's okay.
No, I knew you wouldn't, so I didn't let it.
Okay.
But the point is, I felt that movie. I felt that it spoke to me very, very directly and powerfully.
Cool.
So, and
so only number 2. I think
that's one that can have some manipulation to it too. But
yeah, sure. Yeah.
But
I think that's why the "it's not your fault" scene falls a little false.
100%. 100%. That's the one point in that movie
because that crosses the manipulation line that I can't go with it. Yeah.
And the other scene that people really love in the bar where he punks the kid who goes to Harvard and thinks he knows everything.
I don't know. That's all right. It's just kind of...
That scene's okay, but it
obvious
also feels
writing,
a little forced.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
Obvious writing.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. Good Will Hunting, number 2.
I like it. It didn't make my list, but totally understandable. Yeah.
Was it in your thought process?
No, actually.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't think of it, I guess.
Maybe it's because you're not a genius.
No, that's not it. All right.
I'm going to go with that too.
Okay, sure. Whatever you have to tell yourself. Okay, so I guess my number 2 then.
Your number 2.
All right, my number 2 came out in 1996.
Oh. Schindler's List?
No, I think that was 93.
Right.
Anyway.
Foreign film or English language?
English language. It stars, speaking of, well, it doesn't star, but it features from Good Will Hunting.
Ryan.
No, from Good Will Hunting, Stellan Skarsgård's in it.
Anyway. I'm swinging and missing on this one.
Yeah, you are. It's okay. I don't know if you've seen it.
Okay, all right.
It stars Emily Watson and Stellan Skarsgård by Lars von Trier. It is Breaking the Waves. You ever seen Breaking the Waves?
I have not seen Breaking the Waves.
Okay. All right. So let me tell you a little bit what it's about.
Fill me in. I'm curious. This is number 2. This is way up there.
Oh, way up there. And Dancer in the Dark was in the consideration, but Breaking the Waves is more so for me.
Dancer in the Dark, the Bjork film?
Yes. Also by Lars von Trier. Yeah.
Right.
I haven't
seen that one, but I know of it.
Yeah. So Breaking the Waves stars Emily Watson. It is set in like the early 70s in like the Scottish Highlands. So she plays this young woman and she's married to Stellan Skarsgård, and she's kind of, I think like when she was a kid maybe or earlier in her life took some psychiatric quote unquote treatment. And so now she's sort of a simple person as an adult. Okay. So she loves her husband and she marries him, and she's very, very religious. She's part of this like hardcore Presbyterian Calvinist church, right? And he's a non-church goer. So, but she marries him despite the disapproval from her community. And she loves him so much. And then he's an oil rig worker. So he goes off, and she is, her character's name is Bess. And so she's very childlike and quite simple in her beliefs and things. So she frequently goes to church and prays to God and has conversations with him in her own voice, believing that he's talking directly to her. And anyway, she prays for him to come back from the oil rig, right? She's like, I need him. Please bring him back immediately. And the very next day, her husband gets injured in an industrial accident, right?
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah, so she thinks, she caused the accident and God was punishing her for her selfishness and et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, he's paralyzed and is no longer able to perform sexually.
Well, that's no good.
Yeah, and so he asks her to find other lovers. And she's devastated by this and everything like that. And she storms out, and then he attempts to kill himself, and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, she's like, okay, fine. I love you so much. I'll do this. And then he's just messed up and depressed. And he's like, yeah, do it with all kinds of guys and tell me the details. That'll be how I get off now. And so she just out of pure of spirit love says, okay. And so despite how torn up inside she is about this, she perseveres, just absolute sexual debasement for her husband. And it's just worse situations, worse cruel encounters, worse brutal encounters as the movie goes. And it's just because she believes, well, this is what my husband asked me to do. This is what he wants.
And she feels guilty that...
She feels guilty. And yeah, it's rough because she is so simple and innocent and pure. Despite all these terrible things that happen to her, she never is anything other than that. So you feel this just incredible sadness at the world, how shitty human beings are, how they're taking advantage of her.
That's a daily thing for me.
Well, yeah. And the way the movie's shot is incredibly naturalistic. It's all like handheld. It feels like it's a documentary, like the camera's just following her around.
That's kind of his style in general, right?
Yeah. The Dogma 95 style or whatever. So yeah, and it's, and then the ending, which I won't spoil, is what really gets me with the tears. So it's this incredibly naturalistic film. And then the final 30 seconds and final shot of the movie is just complete contrasting, like magical realism craziness. That's like beautiful and heartbreaking. And anyway, Breaking the Waves. Yeah. Number 2.
Breaking the Waves. So, all right, let me ask you this. I mean, that's way up there, right?
Yeah.
Number two is way up there. That's for any of our lists that we've done. For something to get to number 2, it's got to be real damn good.
It's a great movie. Yeah.
What is it? I mean, is it that it's just such a good movie, or is there something you connect to in it?
No, it's a constant cry, and it's an angry, frustrated cry at the world and how it treats her.
So it's sort of a philosophical connection, or a
and just how her faith and devotion to God is manipulated and used against her is rough. It's a sad one.
Okay. Well, I mean, the interesting thing to me is hearing, why it resonates with you so much. I think that's so true of this list in particular.
Right.
I mean, because for something to make you cry or make you mist or whatever, there's got to be
get to you. Yeah.
Right. And different people cry at different things. Like, I joked about Marley and Me or whatever, but some people are really, really close to their dogs or their pets. And that makes perfect sense that something like that would make you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right. So, and there are things that are movies that would make a lot of people cry that wouldn't make me bat an eyelash.
Absolutely.
So what's fascinating to me and what'll be fascinating to hear, hopefully in feedback we get from listeners is, what are the personal stakes?
Yeah.
And that's not always an easy thing to talk about, but
yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So there you go.
All right.
Number 2.
Cool. I'm going to have to check that out.
Okay. Did that sell you at all? I don't know how I did.
The fact that you have it that high sells me.
Okay.
I respect your taste enough that
there was a TV show. I'm not sure exactly which one, but they were doing the 10 best films of the decade at in 1999 or whatever, and both Roger Ebert and Martin Scorsese had Breaking the Waves as one of the top 10 movies of the 90s.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know that Von Trier is very well respected director. Probably
not as much anymore, maybe.
No, what's the news on that? I don't know.
Well, after he kind of made the Nazi jokes and got kicked out of Cannes.
That was him. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah. Probably not a great career move.
I haven't seen The House That Jack Built yet, but I've liked pretty much all his other films. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying. What are some of his other? I feel like I've seen at least one of his movies.
Yeah. So, Dancer in the Dark, Dogville, Antichrist, Melancholia. Any of those?
I mean, I've heard of all of them. I haven't seen any of them. Did he do? What is it? Nymphomaniac too?
Yes, he did.
Okay, I haven't seen that, but I've heard about it. So he's definitely a little bit of a provocateur.
Yeah, you can take out the little bit. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so he's a lot of bit of a.
He's a lot of bit of a
Oh man.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But for
do you find breaking the waves to be provocative? I mean, obviously
a little bit.
Obviously the sexual aspect of it is certainly
a little bit.
But I wonder in terms of the religious content.
No. I don't find it provocative myself. I could see maybe others. Yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, Dogville's my favorite Von Trier.
Yeah, I remember you talking to me about that one, but that one felt like it might be a little heavy-handed for my taste.
It's not. It's great, but okay.
Well, we both have that's where we differ most.
I honestly think you wouldn't think it is. But
all right. Well, let's add it to the list.
You got so many things.
You got a big old list of books.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to our next book podcast episode. Like I hung with you because it was read for school and I had read most of your list. But any other one we do, I'm going to be screwed. Yeah.
I don't know.
I might be in trouble.
I think movies are going to be an easier sell than books anyway, so we're going to be much more in your wheelhouse than mine.
Oh, yeah. It's the superior medium, so I understand why it's popular.
I scoff.
You
the
scoff
superior
incorrectly.
Medium, my ass.
It is.
There's no superior medium to a book. There isn't one.
Yeah, it's called the moving image.
It engages the mind in much deeper ways than anything else does. There's no passive element to it.
That's a longer discussion. We'll move on.
Yeah, well, you watch people play video games, so you're clearly a mouth-breathing...
You don't get to keep on bringing up something from the guilty pleasures list. I feel guilty.
That was supposed to be...
How dare you? Go watch America's Got Talent, you talentless hack.
Bitch, I am America's Got Talent.
Yeah, one of the ones that get voted off instantly.
No, I'm going to be one of the sob stories.
Yeah, it'll be too manipulative. You won't make me cry.
Nothing does, you soulless piece of crap.
And well, the 9 movies I've counted down so far did.
The Guilty Pleasures was a safe space.
I know it. You're breaking the sanctity of it.
You're violating the safety of the Guilty Pleasures
exactly.
that we put out for the entire world.
I know. You're supposed to be in this with me. Ugh. Anyway, what's your number 1 movie that makes you cry?
My life story. No. Okay. All right. So also, good one. Also from 1997.
I'm worried about this.
No, I think you're going to be so proud of me.
I'm really worried about this.
Foreign language film.
Oh, I'm not worried anymore.
What did you think it was going to be?
My number 1's from 1997. I didn't want it to be the same.
Oh, you were worried that it was going to be the same?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, it's always cool when that happens.
Yeah, I guess. That's true. All right. Anyway,
whatever.
Foreign number language 6 is 97.
Yeah.
Man. I don't know. I need one more tiny hint.
Very famous Oscar moment.
Famous Oscar moment? I don't know Oscar moments.
Yeah, just kind of a little bit of insanity at the Oscars.
Oh, Life is Beautiful?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Benigni climbing over all the seats at the Oscars and kissing everyone.
Yeah. All right. Yes. Life is Beautiful, number 1.
Number 1 for me is the Italian film from 1997, Life is Beautiful. Because buongiorno, principessa.
Yeah.
You like that? That was pretty solid. That wasn't bad for trying to be quiet so I don't wake up my baby.
It wasn't terrible.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I actually appreciate that.
Okay.
Scott just said something nice. All right. Anyway.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So life is, well, if you know anything about this movie, I don't have to explain why it's a tearjerker, right?
Right.
So, all right, here's what it is. I guess I'll just explain it for those of you who haven't seen it. This is number one. You will weep the entire time.
Interesting.
You don't think so?
I did not.
What, really?
I did not like it.
You take that back.
I know. Interesting. It crossed the manipulative line for me.
Are you kidding me? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't feel manipulative at all. It felt like such a fresh and interesting take on something.
Interesting. Well, I mean, we'll just agree to disagree, and that's fine. I mean, if it's the
last time you saw it?
Oh, well, that's true. It has been a long time.
And to be fair, it's been a long time for me, so maybe I would be like, well, wait a minute, I'm an idiot. This is manipulative as hell.
Well, it's your number one, so I'm going to have to go ahead and say I will rewatch it for you.
Okay, do that.
Okay.
All right, so number one, Life is Beautiful. It takes place during World War II, and a family is taken by the Nazis and separated and put into concentration camps. And the father is with his little boy, who is just the most precious thing. This is a father-son movie. How is this not
registering
true for you?
It's been all through my list, yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, you're going to watch this movie again, and you are going to be a puddle of mush.
This is possible.
Next podcast, you're going to hear Scott literally crying on the pod going, oh my God, you were right. You were right. So, all right. So the father has this enormous dilemma. They're in a Nazi concentration camp, and he knows what this is, but his wonderful, charming little boy doesn't.
Right.
And this is pure horror. So the father tells his son that they won a chance to be a part of this game. And he convinces his son that it's all a game and that they're playing for points. And it's funny and heartbreaking. He tells it like a German soldier comes in and starts giving orders to everyone. And he's giving them in German. And obviously the little boy doesn't speak German. So the father is translating for the little boy. And the German guard is like harsh and screaming at them all. And the father's very angrily telling the son that he's talking about how they need to do this and that so that they can get lollipops.
Yeah.
He's got this stern look on his face, but he's also, and all of the other people in the concentration camp are looking at him like he's lost his fucking mind, right? But eventually, this hope he's giving to his child kind of, it kind of lifts everybody up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so it becomes this ongoing thing that obviously becomes harder and harder and harder to keep up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because things are getting a lot worse, and like this game sucks, right?
Yeah, this is a terrible game. Who invented this shit?
This is the shittiest game ever.
Yeah,
I'm no longer having fun. Can we just go home? And the dad, and that happens. And the dad tells him, like, we can't quit now. We've almost won. It's the ability to force yourself to be optimistic for your child. Oh my God, what he does. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the end of the movie.
Well, yeah.
Here's what I'll say. Like you said, it crosses the line to manipulative for you. I think that the end of the movie where...
Careful of spoilers.
I'm trying to be really careful here. It's wrapped up a little too neatly for me.
Yeah, I think that's what my memory is of what soured me. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
but maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it again.
I think that if one aspect of the ending had been changed so that it wasn't quite so neat, it would be perfect. But obviously I have it at number one. So the ending, I kind of take it as what it is, like
that's fine. Yeah.
It's not, it's a little bit saccharine in that moment, but it's following just some painfully heartbreaking things. People he knew before the war, who he's seen now working with the Nazis and interacting with them in a totally different way. And it's a movie that will make you laugh a lot. Like Benigni is what has he done lately? I don't know, because
I don't know, not much.
Yeah, I mean, he was quite well known. He was a very, very famous comedic actor, and he made this film, and it's funny, it's tragic, it's heartbreaking, it's gut wrenching at times. But at the end of the day, I mean, the title kind of gives it what it is. Life is beautiful. This man has this ability to take literally the darkest thing in human history.
Yeah.
And for the sake and for the love of his child, find a way to spin this, so that hope does not go away. And I think in a similar vein,
that's a powerful thing.
Yeah. And like you were saying with the whole theme of how shitty things are and how bad human beings are with the Von Trier film. To do that in the face of that is it's moving, it's moving. So that's why it's number one for me. Is that
makes sense? Yeah,
that's great.
Very good choice.
Great movie. I'm surprised. I'm really surprised you don't care for it.
I'm pretty sure I saw it once back when it came out, and that's what I thought then. And
back when you were like 14,
I was maybe a little older than that, wasn't I?
Dude, 1997.
I don't think I saw it right away. I was a couple years older.
But
maybe
even
16.
as a teenager at all. Yeah, you got to watch this again as a parent.
Yeah, probably. Makes sense.
It's going to mess your ass up.
Okay, well, I'm all for that. I'm always down for a good cry.
I can't wait for that call.
All right. Well, we'll record it if I have to eat crow. That's fine.
I wonder, has Emily seen it?
I don't think so.
Really? You got to watch it together.
Yeah, I guess.
It's definitely going to make
Don't tell me how to live my life.
Oh, but don't watch a trailer for it, Scott. Don't make sure that the lights,
Colby.
That the lights are no higher than 1.37 watts.
They weren't going to be.
And they have to be soft white. They can't. Oh my God.
Anyway, we're having a nice talk here about beauty in the face of the terrible world we live in, and here you are making fun of me instead.
Well,
that's how you find the beauty in life. Yeah, blah blah.
You told me to not tell you how to live your life when you are the king of sending me something to watch with a list of instructions.
I just want to make sure you watch it properly. Anyway,
literally comes with instructions.
Hey, sometimes you have to spell things out for idiots. No, anyway.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Or you're just a control freak.
That doesn't sound right.
With some really weird neuroses.
No, that doesn't sound right. I don't think that's. Okay. I don't think that's it.
You need therapy.
I'm getting it. Leave me alone. We're working on it.
Yeah, we're in the middle of it.
My number one, then, right?
All right.
You ready?
Yes.
All right.
I'm really curious.
Okay.
Year?
1997.
So apparently this was a great year for movies.
Apparently. But before I get to my number one, I have one honorable mention I have to talk about now.
Oh, for God's sake. I knew you were going to pull this crap.
Hey, you got to have a two-parter at your number whatever, 7. So I get to mention this. All right.
Go for it. I will allow it.
And I'm mentioning it here at number 1 because it would be number 1 if it was eligible for the list, which it's not.
Oh.
Because it's a TV show. But in thinking back, it's like the things that have made me cry the most and the hardest, like it's number 1. but it's a TV show, so it obviously cannot be on our top 10 movies that made you cry list. But I thought I'd mention it here. When did it air? I should have looked that up. 2010 to 13, something like that. Anyway, there's 3 seasons, 28 episodes total, and it made me cry a solid couple dozen times.
Jeez.
Yeah, it wrecks me. Anyway, it is the HBO show The Leftovers, which was written and created by Damon Lindelof of Lost fame. Yeah, and who has a new HBO show coming out soon, later this year, Watchmen. Anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah, The Leftovers. Oh, I cried so many times.
Really?
Yeah. Justin Theroux is great as Kevin. And, oh my goodness, I'm forgetting her name, who plays Lori. She made me cry plenty of times, especially when you find out. In episode 9 of the first season. Oh my goodness. But most of anyone, it's the character of Nora, as played by the great Carrie Coon, who's fantastic on that show. Nora made me cry so many times. Anyway, I can't recommend The Leftovers enough. Yeah, it's really great.
Okay, I actually watched the first episode of that, and I really, really liked it. And then my sister-in-law got rid of HBO, and I didn't get a chance to watch the rest.
Okay. Well, sign up for a 14-day trial or whatever and bang out the 28 episodes. It's done. It has a great ending.
Did it wrapped up well?
Oh, chef kiss, perfect ending. Yeah.
You know I'm in as soon as you had me. You had me as soon as you said
Damon Lindelof of Lost.
Damon Lindelof, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on Lost. Lost and The Leftovers, both top, I don't know, 2015, whatever you want to say, TV shows ever.
Yeah, and Lost will make you cry like hell too.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Leftovers, maybe even more so, just by the nature of what that show's about. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, just wanted to shout it out. It's not my number one because it's a TV show, but
based on a book by the very, 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 very well-known and well-respected Tom Perrotta.
Yeah, who wrote a lot of the episodes and co-ran the show with Lindelof. He was very involved. If you're
looking for good stuff to read and you don't have a lot of time, Tom Perrotta is a master of the short story form.
Oh, okay, great.
Master of the short story form.
That makes sense.
And he's a master of everything.
So anyway, that's especially for you, Colby. Leftovers, dude. You would really like it.
All right. I'm in on that.
All right.
Okay. What's number
one? So
one?
Anyway, my actual number one came out in 1997.
Guess.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, go ahead.
Give me a director.
Well, that's either going to
Spielberg?
No, it's not. Okay.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. No. Directed by Andrew Niccol. Yeah, that doesn't help you at all, does it? Okay.
No, it does not.
There you go. And this is a very personal choice for me, and I will get into why. It is number one, and I kind of put it there, and that was the obvious number one for me.
Andrew Niccol.
And it is Gattaca.
I was thinking Gattaca, but I was like, there's no way.
Number one, Gattaca.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a freaking great movie.
Thank you. All right. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Go ahead.
All right. So Gattaca stars Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman and Jude Law. And Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke, I think, met on the set of this movie and fell in love and got married. And a year or two later, Robin from Stranger Things Season 3 was born. And anyway. And they play a couple in this movie. So obviously the chemistry is pretty good since it was happening in real life too. But anyway, so the film takes place in the future. And it's a society where things are driven by eugenics, right? So it's all about your DNA. And so like parents get to select traits for their children as they're conceived, like pick out the best genomes, and people are tailored, to be more perfect. And
what could go wrong?
Yeah, well, right. Ethan Hawke plays Vincent, who is, in the terms of the movie, called an invalid, in that he is a love child, right? He was born the old way instead of genetically designed in a lab.
Mm-hmm.
And in this society, if you are not a valid, quote unquote, person, you're relegated to like menial jobs, like a janitor and stuff like that.
Right.
So anyway, his dream is he wants to go into space like an astronaut. And so he works as a janitor in that facility, and he dreams of doing that. And eventually he goes kind of on the black market and finds the Jude Law character, who plays a guy named Jerome, who is like the perfect genetic specimen, right?
Right. And is a close enough match.
And they look close enough. And Jerome he was like a former swimming star, but he's paralyzed now from a car accident. Right. And so he cannot make money or live up to his potential. So he sells basically like his skin cells and his hair, and he pees in many, many cups for Vincent so that he can fake being this guy.
And this is so brilliantly constructed, the way they do this in this film, to create an entire DNA black market. It's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. It feels like, this is what would happen.
Yeah.
So anyway,
and it is what would happen.
Well, yeah. So the whole thing is, right, everyone else around him is perfect and bred to accomplish these great things. And he is not. And he has to pretend that he is and fake it with DNA, and he drops hairs on a keyboard and whatever so that he can,
vacuums it up at the end of every workday.
Yeah, and he scrubs his own skin every morning.
Brushes his skin with the
Yeah. So talk about a movie all about overcoming the odds or fate or destiny or whatever you want to call it, and it's about becoming more than what you're told you can be, right?
Well, there's also the element with his brother.
Yeah, right? I'm getting there.
Okay.
Yeah, which is embodied with his brother. Okay. God damn it. All right.
Hey, I just wanted to make sure you weren't forgetting one of the most emotional parts.
I'm getting to it, of course.
Jesus.
All right.
Just helping you out. Helping you out.
Thank you. So anyway, he has a brother who is, again, genetically perfect. His parents designed him. And when they were children, they played a game of chicken where they would swim out into the ocean as far as they could. And the first one who had to turn around and go back to the shore was the loser. And, Vincent always lost, right? His brother's perfect. He always beat him until one day as kids, Vincent actually beats him. And his brother Anton starts to drown. And so Vincent saves him, takes him back to shore, and then immediately runs away from home and leaves, right? Years later, the events of this movie take place, and there's like a whole murder plot that he's falsely accused for and has to get out of.
Right. Draws the attention of
and he might not
police.
Yeah, he might not get to go to space for that reason.
So that's what threatens this life he has created for himself. He seems to have this perfect system, but then a murder happens where he works, and all of a sudden,
and it's complicated.
It's crawling with cops.
Yeah, and it's complicated by he's also falling in love with this woman who is a valid, but has like a heart condition, so she can't go up into space, and they bond, and I think he tells her the truth and all that. Or she finds it out anyway. But anyway, why it makes me cry so much
because you don't leave anything for the swim back.
Well, that's right. Is the second swim scene when the brothers find each other again as adults.
Did you mention that the brother's one of the detectives on the...
Yeah, that's a bit of a twist, kind of a spoiler. But
sorry. Whoops.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if that's a spoiler.
No, I guess not. Yeah. But anyway, it's all about that swimming scene. I just absolutely lose it. The music is by a guy named Michael Nyman. It's not manipulative, but when you've seen the movie like over 5 times, you notice it.
Yeah.
What epic music. And it's that swimming scene. And it hits me so hard. I don't know why. It's about, I don't know. It's like you've gone as far as you can go. You're not able to do this. You're not supposed to be able to do this. And it's like this hard work, this belief in yourself and pursuing your dream without leaving anything for the swim back. It gets to me.
And he asked his brother, but how he demands, like his genetically perfect brother demands of him.
How can you keep swimming? How do you beat me?
And he reveals the secret.
He says, "You want to know how I did it? I never saved anything for the swim back."
Which is
a wonderful line.
Just a great line.
Yeah. And then the stuff with that I won't spoil the details of Jude Law's character and his end is also quite sad.
Yeah, the stuff with Jude Law is and he's got some monologues in that movie that are remarkable. So anyway, that's a personal choice, I know, but that one makes me cry every time, very, very hard. And shout out to my old college roommate Drew. If you are by some chance listening to this, that you'll love Gattaca #1. Oh, is that one you guys watched a lot together? He used to make fun of me for loving Gattaca so much. Oh, well, there's no shame in that. Gattaca's brilliant. No, I know. He thought so too, but he still made fun of me. Yeah. So there are two things we need to address here. Oh, okay. All right. And I'll go with the serious one first. Okay. So Bill Simmons, the sports writer, mm-hmm. he's talked about, he does a lot of stuff with media and stuff too, right? And he often calls the Al Pacino, De Niro movie Heat the most rewatchable movie ever made. Uh-huh. And I believe that if it's not #1, it's certainly top 3. That Gattaca is the most rewatchable movie ever made. Oh, I don't know. Put me on the spot. I haven't thought about it. We'll have to save that for an episode. That may be a list. Yeah. Right. Yeah. We might have to do that as an episode. But anyway, the point is, very rewatchable movie for sure. I love Gattaca, and am I surprised that it's your number? Yes. Okay. All right. Absolutely. Okay. Good. Am I surprised that it's your #1? Yes. Okay, that's fair. That's really high, but that's again, a personal thing. Yeah. We just talked about how personal that is, how personal this is, and that totally makes sense. And honestly, Gattaca. I'm going to be honest with you. Part of the reason I left Gattaca off of my list is because of the second thing we need to talk about. Oh, what's that? Which is why Ethan Hawke is appearing in every single one of our episodes. Oh, yeah. 5 this times. Is the Ethan Hawke Appreciation Podcast. I know. We're just an Ethan Hawke fan club, apparently. Apparently. Did you think about that? Yeah, I did. That did come up to me, especially after you had 2 Before movies on your list today. 2 Ethan Hawke movies on my list. All right. Yeah. We've got in the Detectives episode, I had Jake Hoyt. Yeah, he's been a sticker pick on one of your lists. He was a sticker pick for Guilty Pleasures for me. Yeah. What else? Yeah, it's been a lot. Lots of Ethan Hawke. There's been a lot of Ethan Hawke, which, you know what? Magnificent Seven, too. That's right, yeah. Yeah. He's all over. I feel like it's mostly you. Yeah, apparently. Yeah. But I haven't had him at #1 on anything. Well, fair enough. Man, you know what this really just speaks to? Is that Ethan Hawke's really freaking good. He is. He definitely is. So that does it for the 6th episode of the Ethan Hawke Appreciation Podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week for more Ethan Hawke. Next week, top 10 awesome things about Ethan Hawke. Oh, it's got to be a top 50. No. Yeah. Holy crap. All right, well, here, let's run down our lists. Let's do it. All right, do your list. Okay. All right, here we go. From 10 to 1. Number 10, and my sticker pick. That's right. Is the 1996 Ridley Scott movie, White Squall. Check it out. I don't, it definitely is going to feel 90s a little bit, but it's good. Number 9, The Descendants, starring George Clooney. Number 8, Paul Thomas Anderson's Magnolia. Number 7 was a mashup of Casablanca and La La Land. Number 6, which we shared, surprisingly, was Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Number 5 was 2013's Before Midnight, starring Ethan Hawke, and co-writing credit on that too.
Yeah.
Number 4 was the 2016 movie Manchester by the Sea. Number 3, starring Ethan Hawke, is Before Sunset. Number 2 is the 1997 movie not starring Ethan Hawke, Good Will Hunting. And number 1, 1997's tearjerker, Life is Beautiful.
All right. Number 10 for me, the 2010 film Rabbit Hole. Number 9, The Bicycle Thief. Number 8, 45 Years, which is my sticker pick, directed by Andrew Hay. Check it out. 45 Years. Great movie. Number 7, I have Interstellar. Number 6, same as you, same spot and everything, Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Number 5, come on, Dad, let's have a catch. It's Field of Dreams. Number 4, I have Roma from just last year. Number 3, Woody and Buzz at Toy Story 3 at number 3. Number 2, Lars von Trier's Breaking the Waves. And number 1, starring Ethan Hawke, Gattaca.
There he is.
All right. Well, that does it. That is the top 10 movies that made us cry. And we're going to take a quick break and we'll go over and announce next week's list.
Sounds good. And we're back and ready to talk about what we're going to be taking on next week.
Yep.
All right. So we got
an interesting one.
With this one a little bit. This is gonna be a hard one.
I'm already dreading it.
But I think it's gonna be fun. I do think it's gonna be fun.
I really think I'm gonna think of like 4 things, and I'm gonna be stumped.
I think that once you think of 3, you're gonna think of 20 like you always do, and you're gonna try and pull some crap where you have a secondary list.
Well, that does seem to be how it goes, but I'm still worried that won't be how it happens this time.
All right. Should I reveal it?
You reveal away.
Okay. So next week, we are going to be doing our top 10 fictional rivalries.
Ooh.
We're talking Iceman and Maverick.
You spoiled my number 1, dude.
That's where I went.
You ruined it.
So again, it could be... It has to be, an antagonist and a protagonist, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, all right, what are our rules? What first should we define, or did we sufficiently define what a fictional rivalry is?
I think it can be left open from what you just said. I mean, I think that's enough. Yeah.
I think so, too. I mean, It's pretty self-explanatory, right? Rivalry.
Yeah.
2 people at odds.
Yeah. Opposing sides going at each other.
Okay. Good. We're good on that.
And it's just fictional, so it can be from whatever medium tells a fictional story.
Yes.
With rivals in it. Yes?
Indeed.
Okay.
Yes.
All
so
right.
We took care of all of the words in the...
We've gone over the actual words. Okay, cool.
All right. So, are there any parameters we need? Are we limited here to... I'm thinking back to the detectives list, right?
How about...
Are we limited to iterations?
Yeah, I think we do that. And I think we limit it to only 1 rivalry per story.
So, like, if you're choosing, let's say, Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do Han Solo and Greedo and then...
And Luke Skywalker versus Stormtroopers. Like, you can't do both.
I like how we're both avoiding Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's not going to make one of our lists. But anyway.
Yeah, right.
Okay, but no 2 from the same thing, right? No multiple from the same story. Come on, we got to at least vary it up. That gets more things on the list.
Okay, yeah, that'll prevent us from doing like 5 of the different awesome rivalries on Lost or something.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's fair. That's
okay.
It's going to be tough. It's going to end up with some cool stuff.
I don't know why I'm making it harder on myself after I just said I'm worried.
Yeah, you seriously.
Oh, I'm an idiot. All right.
No, there you go, genius. You said it, so it's locked in.
Yeah, well, okay. I have no comeback for that. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good to me.
This is going to be a hard one, but it's going to be...
Listeners, please, to listthepod@gmail.com, @listthepod. Please help us out. Give us some ideas. I need the help. Send us your lists early in the week so I have time to steal them.
Yeah, I would say jump on this one. I would like to hear something to help me get thinking. This is going to be a hard one.
Yeah.
Wow.
It'll be interesting. Okay. I'm looking forward to see what we come up with.
Yeah, I think when we open it up to the different forms of media, it becomes harder because you've got such a deeper pool to pull from.
Yeah. So it has to be fictional rivalries, right? Can it be a fictionalized depiction of a real life rivalry? Well, if it's like some biopic or something, right?
But they're lightly fictionalized typically. Like if you're talking,
like there's that movie coming out, Ford versus Ferrari or whatever.
Yeah, and see
would that be allowed?
I don't think that's heavily fictionalized enough.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that wouldn't be good.
I think I'm going to say no on something like that.
Okay.
But where, like, if you're doing, let's say, Night at the Museum, and you've got the Teddy Roosevelt from that.
Oh, okay.
Do you see what I mean?
Heavily fictionalized. I see.
Heavily fictionalized.
All right. Okay. Well, if that's what you want to do, you just keep making it harder.
Well, I mean, look, if it's based in historical fact, it's really not
a fictional rivalry.
That's only lightly fictionalized. You're just kind of filling in blank spaces.
I got you. Okay, fair enough. Well, that sounds good to me.
I think there are too many freebies there.
Yeah, true. All right. Well, top 10 fictional rivalries.
I'm already sweating this one.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. This was your idea. I blame you if it's too hard.
Yeah, well... Thanks. I have no witty comeback for that.
That's what she said? I don't know.
When in doubt, that's what she said.
It works. All right. Cool. That's it. Next week, top 10 fictional rivalries. Thanks again for listening to this one.
Don't forget, jump in, get on Facebook, get on Twitter, get on Instagram, get on whatever you want to get on and talk to us. Let us know what you thought of this list.
Yeah, and if you're finding these episodes on social media or our website, listthepodcast.com. Also, be sure to find us in your podcast app. Click the subscribe button so you'll know when the new episodes come out. And leave us that rating and review and help us out.
Yes. All right. Well, that wraps it up for this week. Thanks for listening. We're very much looking forward to next week, and we hope to see you then.
See you next week.